Hello and welcome to JD Ringside. There's nothing quite like a heavyweight clash, is there? Dillian Whyte, Lucas Browne, they are ready to go. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by a man who knows a thing or two about this division, trainer Adam Booth. And Adam, you got the green memo, which is always good to see.
The green memo, but whoever made these microphones didn't.
Clashes, doesn't it? Doesn't quite work. What is it about the heavyweight division? It's something rather special. They never seem to disappoint, do they?
Well, everyone likes a knockout, and the heavyweight division proportionally gives you more knockouts per fight. So I think that, and also the fact that because they're the biggest, and we have a sport that's got weight categories for a reason, it makes them just more exciting to watch.
And what about their weaknesses? That makes it exciting to watch as well.
Yes, well, because they're so big, they can be hurt, and at any point someone can go. For me, I always have enjoyed watching the lighter weights because they have to do more. There's more intricacy to the game, but it's combat sport, and to put someone down for 10 seconds to win the fight is the most emotionally stirring element of the sport, and that's what the heavyweights deliver.
Well, Dillian Whyte and Lucas Browne went face-to-face behind me just a short while ago, and Andy Scott caught up with both men.
It's one of those fights where we won't know it goes until the first round. We've prepared for him coming forward, we've prepared for him moving around, we've prepared for him trying to bang, prepared for him trying to box. Because one thing I know is when guys fight me, they always turn up better than they ever do in any other fight. So I've learned to prepare for all possibility.
I think considering the face-off that we had at the press conference, then the face-off yesterday and the face-off today, I think yesterday and today he's a bit scared. Yeah, so it's good. You can see it in his eyes, he's blinking, he's looking away, things like that. So I'm excited.
I just prepare like an underdog. I don't see myself as an underdog. I don't look at stats, I don't look at any of that. I just go in there. As you can see, I didn't even bring my belt with me today, because I'm going to this fight as a challenger, even though I'm the champion. That's my mindset.
Are you prepared for the booing and the screaming of the London fans that you're going to get when you walk out?
I don't mind it at all. I prefer it. It puts me at the underdog sort of thing, so I don't have anything to prove. He's the one that has to put on a good show and has to prove in his hometown, so it's good for me.
Listen, I can punch, but I might not have the 22 knockouts that he have, but I can punch. I fought better position than him. That's why I haven't got. When you fight good guys, it's hard to knock them out. When you fight guys who want to survive, then it's hard to knock him out. But when he's fighting 22 tomato Kansas, it's easy to knock him off the wall.
Adam, just how important is it that Dillian not only wins, but looks good doing it if he's going to keep his world title dreams alive?
Well, I guess in today's landscape of the heavyweight division and the level of excitement it's starting to deliver, you have to be seen as a viable commercial option. The left hook that he landed on Anthony Joshua in their first fight that wobbled him will certainly go a big way into making him a credible opponent for Joshua in the future, but he really needs to prove that he has something else other than that one shot to be a bona fide challenger.
Just how dangerous an opponent is Lucas Browne?
One of the most dangerous because...
Why?
Firstly, he hits like a freight train, so he can put you to sleep with one shot. Secondly, he's emotionally composed. It's almost like there's nothing going on inside him while he's standing in front of you 12 rounds.
You can't read him.
You can't read him, so and that type of energy can put an opponent to sleep in terms of making him lose concentration. Once he makes you lose concentration, he can put you to sleep for real with the right hand. And that's going to be Dillian's biggest challenge, that he's going to have to motivate his own concentration for 12 rounds because what goes on in front of him won't necessarily stimulate him to concentrate.
Well, it's not just the heavyweights that are looking to grab the headlines on Saturday. British lightweight champion Lewis Ritson is looking to impress once again under the watchful eye of his father and trainer, Davey.
He was a good footballer, a really good footballer. His strength was his courage. He's always been a fighter, a bit fearless, really. He's never been out to the gym. Not even. I don't think he's had a month, rest ever, in 14 years. Walking in there, that's his home, really, and that's what I believe.
My father always used to say, imagine what it would be like to be British champion. This belt isn't going on my mantelpiece, it's going on my father's. I've had plenty of ups and downs, but this is a true good open. Mass respect, father, I love you. I'm in with my dad every day. If I'm slacking, he tells me you're slacking. If I'm overtrained, you're overtrained. Calm it down a bit. And it's good to be more like mates than anything, but he knows the fine line where to raise it. So it's a good relationship we've got.
You've got to be hooked onto this game. There's loads of good boxers out there. The commitments and desire, that's a total different ball game. I think the 3 or 4 things that you need, ingredients you need to be a top class fighter, well, I think it ticks all the boxes. Been proud from day one, really. He's got the style I like, he's got the courage I like, he's got the toughness I like. You're going to have to be a good, strong, committed boxer who's really mentally and physically tough to take his title off him. If you've got the minerals for that, I'll shake your hand. We haven't seen the best of this guy by a long chalk. I think they see the best of him when he's stretched. And we wish Scotty Cordell all the best.
Well, Lewis Ritson, he's on a roll, isn't he? And Scotty Cordell, he's looking to win back his British title. It's an interesting clash, this one, isn't it? It
is. Scott can be a nightmare for anyone with his fidgety style and his defensive skills and his ability to box. With Lewis Ritson, you've got a similar attributes to the Lucas Browne scenario, where you've got someone that can whack, who genuinely seems to be quite emotionally composed while he's in there as well. And it's early days for him because he hasn't had that many fights to prove what level he could get to. But from his last performance against Murray, I was impressed with how quickly and clinically he went about his job.
Well, we saw in the VT there as well how Lewis, he's incredibly close to his dad, isn't he, as a trainer. From your point of view, as a trainer, how important is that relationship? How close do you allow yourself to get to your fighters?
Me personally, torturously close sometimes, because you then have to try and separate your emotions of caring about them as human beings and actually dealing with them as fighters. It's not easy, no, it's not, and I don't ever expect it to be easy. The day it becomes easy is probably the day that I've changed for the worse as a coach. As a father, genuinely, I have no idea how a caring father can have a child go into boxing and coach them through some of the situations that you have to watch fighters go through, let alone your own flesh and blood. So I take my hats off to them, but I don't envy that level of craziness.
Well, another domestic clash that has got many people split is a Frank Buglioni versus Callum Johnson, and it could be the fight of the night.
Well, a chance for the wise guy Frank Buglioni to win the British title outright and to add the Commonwealth title. Quite a nice liner. You would be the first British fighter to win the Lonsdale belt, having done it against undefeated fighters. That's a nice little incentive as well, is it not?
Yeah, it's a massive incentive. It's kind of pushed me on that extra little bit in training camp. I've worked a little bit harder. I'm very confident.
You know, I see it being a pretty tough fight at stages, but I do think I'll clip him and it'll be a good night.
I hit as hard as him. My chin's better than his. My fitness is better. My strength's better. My inside work's a bit cuter. So yeah, as an all-round fighter, I'm better. But that being said, I've got more experience now. I've had 10, probably about 12 championship fights. He's only had one.
What would it mean to win that Lonsdale belt?
Oh, it would mean everything. Do you know what I mean? To add it to my Commonwealth. You know, just there's doors that'll open for me, and you know, it'll be my coming out party tomorrow night.
Callum Johnson, he's got to come out. He's got to try and start fast. But he's going to be in a world of trouble, and I don't see him going past 6.
We cannot wait for that one on Saturday. Right, after the break, we turn our attention to next weekend.
I'm sure I had one of these. Joseph Parker's left his WBL belt here. He wouldn't do one-on-ones with the press, but after the break, we'll be talking to his inside man, Kevin Barry, who knows him better than anybody.
Big time of the year for the punters and the bookies, of course. Dale Tempest with me, and it's the march of the heavyweights. We nearly saw Deontay Wilder, the big favourite against Luis Ortiz, come a cropper. What's happening? Dillian Whyte, Lucas Browne, then Anthony Joshua against Joseph Parker. Good times, isn't it?
What's happening is the world is talking about heavyweight boxing again. It's fantastic. We're breaking records every time there's a fight. When AJ, there's Parker, that's going to be big. Dillian Whyte, Lucas Browne before that. It's just fantastic what's happening now. Dillian Whyte, 2-5. Lucas Browne, 38-year-old Aussie, he's a beast, he's a monster, but Dillian will fancy his chances. These guys want to take on AJ.
Come on the punters, take on the bookies.
Adam and Dale looking very animated there, weren't they? Well, as you heard in the piece, Dillian Whyte very much the betting favourite. And I'm sure there'll be huge support for him from Brixton and in particular from Miguel's gym. JD Ringside cameras took a sneak peek inside.
Hi, welcome to Miguel's Gym, Brixton. Are you ready to box? The gym's been here for 20 years now. Been started by two brothers who were in a local amateur club, and they came here and started this gym in the community.
We've got a lot of people that have been in the knife and gun crime situation. We've brought them here to give them a focus and a purpose, and it's done really well.
This is where people put down guns, they put down knives, and they come to this gym and release themselves, and no one's worried here. This is actually a home for many.
We love Miguel's because it's a community in here, it's friendly, keeps us out of trouble, keeps us fit, and teaches young kids self-discipline and self-control.
You all agree?
Yeah!
Community spirit is one of the main things. We all live and drive everything together.
In this gym, nobody is bigger than anybody.
Everybody's welcome. Everybody. Don't care what race, creed, colour you are.
It's really like diverse and inclusive, so it's nice to feel like part of a team.
You had your Weetabix this morning?
Some really, really terrible stories turned out to be really successful stories, and we're very, very proud of that.
It just keeps me out of trouble and discipline, you know?
It provides like a loving environment as well as an environment that will get the best out of you. I used to be overweight, people used to make names of me, but now I've lost weight, now I know how to diet properly.
Great gym for keeping kids out of trouble, really good for changing lives.
It helps a lot of us who had maybe problems at school, problems with family, problems generally in society, to focus our energies, focus our anger.
You can send anybody in this gym and they will walk out with a smile. Remember I told you that.
Right, class is over. Kids, get them out of the gym.
Well, Miguel's one of the many gyms in the capital with a story to tell. Adam, let's just rewind a little bit to where your boxing journey started. Where did it all begin?
It began in 1981 when my stepdad dragged me out of bed and took me to Odeon Leicester Square to watch Leonard Hearns 1 on closed circuit, and that was it for me.
Did you love it at first sight? Was it?
No, it was a bit, no, I didn't really understand it, and then when I got punched in the face for the first time, I really didn't think I understood it. But a couple of months later, I went to a different gym, and a guy called John Hart taught me how not to get hit in the nose with a jab, and I started to fall in love with it from there.
And the rest is all history. Right, there is plenty more unmissable heavyweight action to look forward to next weekend as Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker put their very precious world title belts on the line. The WBO champion is in the capital, and Johnny Nelson tracked down his trainer, Kevin Barry.
At the beginning of this press conference, they said Joseph Parker's doing no one-on-one interviews with the crowd, with the press. Why is that?
Oh, I'll tell you what, Joe's done so many interviews over the last 9 weeks. We've had every man and his dog in our house in Vegas and in their boxing gym. And I think right at the moment, I think he's doing feature rider stuff today, but he's not doing one-on-one with the TV.
Do you think the New Zealand press have got under AJ's skin because he's done no interviews with those either?
Well, mate, I don't read everything that they write, but I'm sure there's a few people that have got under his skin. He's a big guy, and people have got under his skin before.
All right, what about the elbow injury from Parker? Is it going to affect this fight at all?
Well, I think it's going to affect us in a far more positive way. Joe's hasn't got the pain in the elbows. We've had a very good training camp. injury-free, pain-free, enabled us to have a successful camp, and we come here with a high degree of confidence.
He actually looks like a completely different fighter. He's slimmer, sleeker, smiling, shaved down, confident. What have you said? What has he done?
Well, I tell you what, he's a bit different from the man that was here signing the fight 9 weeks ago. You know, he just come out of vacation and he had a great big fat face, and now he's on point at the moment. He's very light, very fast, very confident, and very positive.
That's what you're working on? Speed? Are we getting a game plan?
Look, I tell you what, I think, you know, there's no secret. You know, we've always said Parker's a faster guy. You know, we'll find out. There's going to be a lot of hand speed in this fight.
So, in a grand scheme of things, say if Joseph Parker knocks out Anthony Joshua, what do you think the reaction will be from the crowd?
Oh,
from the New Zealand crowd as well?
My God, I tell you what, you'll hear the screams from New Zealand, and you'll hear the hakas and the war cries from Samoa.
Oh my goodness. Listen, good luck, whatever happens.
Man. Thank you.
So Adam, Joshua Parker, how do you see this one going?
I have to favour Joshua because he's more proven at world level in world championship fights. Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if Joseph Parker surprises some people and surprises AJ a little bit as well, because he has that Maori heritage, and we've seen from the rugby that
It's
does
just in them, isn't it?
It plays a factor. So although I favour AJ, I think the fight is much more competitive and challenging. And I've seen people give it credit for, and don't be surprised if it's a bit of a rocky road for AJ.
Well, you yourself next weekend, you're going to be a bit of a busy man, aren't you? You've got Ryan Burnett and Josh Kelly both in action. I bet they both keep you on your toes, but in different ways.
Well, it's a nice challenging environment in the gym, and I'm very satisfied in my coaching at the moment. Ryan's got his number one challenger in Jon Fres Parejo, who has very good hands, good boxing skills, lost a split decision to Zakianov, and that's no mean feat because Zakianov can put intense pressure on a boxer. He is an orthodox challenger, whereas Lee Haskins in his first world title fight was very tricky. In his second world title fight, when he unified against Zakianov, it was just a rough, tough fight, and it was always going to be that way. This is a chance for Ryan to show where he's at technically, as a champion and as a young man as well.
And Josh, how's he feeling ahead of it? You've got lots of different personalities in your gym, and Josh is an interesting character, isn't he?
Very.
You were telling me he's a bit of a worrier outside the ring.
Oh, he loves to worry. My only worry is his worry. My worry isn't about his ability. It's not about his ability to box, punch, take a punch, not get hit, understand what's going on. His boxing IQ is incredibly high, so far beyond the 5 professional fights that he's had already, that I've got such confidence in him that I keep checking myself to make sure that I'm not looking at him through rose-coloured glasses, because you can sometimes admire your fighters too much, and you always have to be critical and look at what they do wrong. But I have to say that my only worry is the fact that Josh worries. And now I'm going to get a T-shirt made with me just putting a thumbs up. So when he looks at me with this worried expression about the most irrelevant of things, I'm just going to show him the T-shirt so I don't have to say anything anymore, because he can fight and he has got incredible potential, and I'm really looking forward to this. I honestly believe that the enemy of ability is complacency. So I have to keep the challenges and the stresses in front of him. And next week is a classic example of that. You've got somebody with incredible ability who could suffer with complacency if not stimulated, and that's why he's got a former world champion in front of him.
Fascinating stuff. You also had a successful trip stateside, didn't you, last weekend? Your first fight with Irish featherweight Michael Conlan. Just talk us through his performance.
He has incredible amateur pedigree and world number one as an amateur. So even if I just sat there and said nothing, I know that he'd figure it out at this level. But we have talked about new things and slightly different things. At the very start of the fight, he made a couple of little mistakes technically that we have talked about and will talk about some more. But he also showed that he's got a very quick boxing brain, that he saw the kid was trying to duck under his heavy shots, switched southpaw, and as Bernard ducked down, he whipped in that bolo shot to the plexus, and that ruined him. Apparently it broke his rib, and that's just his grade. I didn't need to tell him that as a coach. He saw it, he read it, he made the adjustment, and he landed the shot.
Well, that was last weekend. Turn our attention back to this weekend, and Dillian Whyte and Lucas Browne will have their tactics prepped and planned. Well, Spencer Fearon and Andy Scott are on hand to break it down for us.
The knowledge Spence Fearon is going to do a tactical breakdown for Dillian Whyte against Lucas Browne. He's picked 3 key points. First one, Lucas Browne timing.
timing, because the thing with him is this: he doesn't waste any shots. Everything that he does, he lands. So he'll be here with you, Lucas Browne, and sometimes he throws his hands throws a shot down from low, or sometimes he's got from a high guard. But even from his low, if he's there, he doesn't get the full extension of the arm because he's got the timing and he gets himself in position and he throws the shot. And it's a hard shot because if you know with Lucas Browne, got very, very big arms, and a lot of it seems like it's arm punching, right? But it's enough of an arm punch to knock you out.
Second one, Dillian Whyte, jab.
Yes, Dillian Whyte's jab. For heavyweights, Dillian Whyte's got very, very good movement here, but with Dillian Whyte's jab, you can see it goes there, it goes down to the body, it goes back up to the head, right? Many guys, they don't do that. Heavyweights now, they're like throwing big 1-2s to the head, but no, with Dillian Whyte, he picks his shots out with a jab all the time. He picks his shots and he's always moving. He's got good side-to-side lateral movement and he pushes his jab out.
Third one, Lucas Browne, real danger punch, right uppercut.
Oh man, did you see the Chagayev fight?
We did,
right.
We did against Chagayev in Chechnya.
Right, for somebody who is just, he's a relative novice. For what his accomplishments, you've got to give him all the ratings in the world. But his uppercut, look how he throws the uppercut. He'd be here with it, and because he's rounded, he's very thick set, he'd be here, and he'll push the jab out, and he'll come straight up with the uppercut. And with the uppercut, it's a hurtful shot. It's like, it's an impertinent shot for someone to walk out and throw an uppercut at you. But here's a guy who can throw an uppercut 1, and then he'll go 2, 3, 4. He said, oh, it's worked the first time, and he'll continue doing it. This is something that fighters are not used to doing because we're not used to someone throwing 3 or 4 uppercuts at you, especially in the heavyweight division.
Okay, like the sound of it. We'll see if you're right. Not long to wait now.
Adam, we all know as a trainer you have to come up with a game plan. But what I want to know is how frustrating is it when you're in the corner and your fighter doesn't stick to the game plan?
I wouldn't say it's frustrating at the time because you're just in the moment and you're saying what's got to be done. And also we go through this in the gym, right? In sparring, you tell them to do something and they don't do it. Or you ask them to do something and they don't do it. And so everything's a rehearsal. Whatever happens in a fight has already happened in the gym. But you go back and you use phrases and remind them of scenarios in training to put them back on track. You always have to bear in mind that there may be another reason why they're not doing what you ask them to do, because they may see something different. And you have to try and factor that in as well. And you literally have all this information flooding through your mind of trying to figure out what they're doing wrong, why they're doing it wrong, what can they see, so that you tell them the right thing. Because sometimes you've got to let them go with what they think they can see, because they're the ones that are in there. I wish I had a simple answer for you. I don't. It's a complex sport, and coaching is a complex job.
I'm sure. Do you know what, though? It has been fascinating talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck next weekend as well. Now we know Dillian Whyte, he loves to make an entrance, doesn't he? And I'm sure the O2 will be jumping on Saturday night when the body snatcher comes out like this. See you Saturday.
Good to see you, Dill. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
Back in Black, that's been your ring walk music for for how many fights?
Since I've been back. It's a good tune, it's a good halfway song, you know, like everyone knows it. It's got a good beat, it's a good vibe to it. You know, young people know it, old people know it. It's a good catchy tune as well.
I just wish you the best of luck on Saturday, man, and good luck, man.
Thanks, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.